my god, there's so many inappropriate questions that I literally cannot even, oh god, this is gonna definitely be demonetized, I know already, so I'm not making any money off of this video, but... So welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you guys are new here. If you guys follow me on Twitter especially, you'll know that I personally, like, I'm just very open when it comes to basically anything, especially when it comes to sex. I just personally don't feel like there should be this stigma around it that people, I don't know, people make it seem like it's a bad thing, or I don't know. I guess people have different boundaries. For me personally, I'm an open book. I will talk about whatever. I'm not embarrassed by it. It's just, it's sex. We all do it and then we pretend like it's this weird thing that nobody does, but let's be honest, we all like to get it in every now and then. We will get started, and if this topic makes you uncomfortable, then I guess I'll see you in the next video. All right, so first question, we'll start with a booby question. Do girls like getting their nipples sucked on? Some people, it's just like, it doesn't feel like anything. Me personally, I love that shit. But again, it just depends on what you like, and that's the thing when it comes to sex, is that every single person likes a different thing, so you just got to communicate that. But personally, I got them sensitive nips, if you know what I mean. How loud should I moan in bed? I mean, personally, I don't think that you should fake a moan, because we all know, we've all went onto Pornhub before, watched a video, and you can just tell that the person is faking it. I mean, my neighbors probably think that there's someone being murdered in the house, and it's just kind of not the best vibe. I think that you should let out the sounds that feel good, but don't sit there and fake it, because it's just kind of, in my opinion, it's a little bit weird, and I don't know, it'll probably come off as fake. I'm very self-conscious of my vagina. I don't know what to do to make myself feel more confident. Okay, so this one hits close to home because I used to be so insecure and embarrassed of my vagina, because I would watch porn and see these tiny little vaginas and not realizing that in the porn industry, a lot of people have gone through a thing called a labiaplasty. Labiaplasty? I don't know what it's called, but basically they take your labias and they like trim them so they're very nice and neat and little. And obviously not everyone, and there's different porn categories. Just what I saw when I was younger, I was like, wow, these are so little and petite, and mine does not look like that. So I was very insecure until I got older and I started to see more vaginas in real life and on the internet, and I realized, I'm like, why am I insecure about this? Like, some of us have fat vaginas, and that is fine. That is okay. But every single vagina is different, and I think that that's what you have to remember. When a guy or a girl or whoever is looking at your vagina, they're not inspecting it. And in most cases, if a guy or girl or whoever thinks that a vagina needs to be this tiny, petite little thing, they've probably never seen real vaginas in their entire life. You probably don't even want to have sex with them anyways. I just feel like I said vagina 1,400 times. Holy shit. The best way to get nudes from girls. The best way to ask for nudes is to not ask for nudes and to just let the relationship or whatever you have going on just kind of flow, and you know, it'll come up if you guys are chatting or sexting or talking, and it'll just happen. But to be like, yo, send me pics, it's not a good look. Are you into any fetishes? I don't think that I have any like fetishes, but I'm also very open to trying anything. I don't know if that's a fetish. Like, I literally, you could be like, I want to stick a toe in your butt, and I'd be like, cool, let's do it. I'm just very, very open to trying anything. There's nothing that I'm kind of like, oh, weird, don't do that. I'm just like, hey, let's do it. Okay, so there are a lot of questions about anal, and that's a very good question. Are you into it? Are girls into it? Do we enjoy it? Blah, blah, blah. And again, it's different for every single person. Me personally, I'm into it, but it's kind of like, you know, like a 4-course meal where it's like, you don't just go to dessert. You start with, you know, the little appetizers, and then maybe you get the main dish, and then you get to dessert. So it's one of those things where you can't just dive into it. You kind of have to work yourself up to that place. But even just practicing on yourself to see if you enjoy it, you never know, right? You don't know unless you try. There was a day where I was like, don't come near my butthole. No, that's weird. It hurts. but there's steps to make it better, to make it more enjoyable. And again, you have to be comfortable with yourself, the person you're doing it with. So it's definitely not something that you just want to probably do with anybody. But if you're comfortable enough, then I think that personally can be very enjoyable. Advice on getting comfortable with your sexuality when your parents aren't supportive of it. So this is tough. I mean, my dad is very supportive of it. My mom obviously is supportive now, but she herself does not really support it, if that makes sense. And it's not something that I really talk about with her. But at the end of the day, it is your life. And that's what I had to tell myself. Your parents may never support it or accept it, unfortunately. And you have to make the decision if you're okay with that. But do not let your parents make you feel like a bad person or talk down to you. If it's affecting your mental health, then I am not afraid to cut family members out of my life. I don't care if we're blood, you know what I mean? Like, I do not do well with disrespect, especially when it comes to love. I don't think that love has any kind of box or character. Like, I do not understand how people say love is through a male and a female. It's like, you can't say that for someone else. If I find love through another female, that's still love. So yeah, my advice is just to definitely set boundaries. And, you know, don't be afraid to be yourself. Even if your parents don't accept it, it is not their life to live. They have their life to live. If they don't want to love, you know, someone of the same sex, that's cool. But you are allowed to, because again, it is your life. I hope that makes sense. That topic gets me so heated though. Ugh. I've never had sex before. What would you say happens that nobody talks about? I think that we kind of glamorize it. Like when you see it in movies, it's very hot and steamy and very, wow, there's no sounds. It's just nice moaning and stuff. But in reality, I am not even gonna lie. I've had experiences where I have made weird noises with my vagina and I'm like, oh, what is that? And it's like, shit happens. Not actual literal, but actually I'm sure that does happen. Like if you're doing anal sex, like we're not gonna lie, like poop does come out of there. So I'm sure that that's happened to people before. And I just think that people think that it's supposed to be this very glamorous thing, but at the end of the day, like there are bodily fluids, there's sweat, there's weird noises that have been made. I mean, if anyone knows what a queef is, it's literally air getting pushed out of your vagina that sounds like a fart. That can happen. And it's embarrassing, but it does happen. And I don't mean to scare you if you've never had sex, but it's definitely a possibility that that stuff can happen. And as long as you're mature about it, I think that it's like, whatever, it's not the end of the world. But there's definitely a lot of stuff that you don't see in porn or movies. And when it comes to real life, you're just like, what the hell was that? So this question says, my boyfriend doesn't want to do oral on me. What do I do? Oh, honey. Oh, Lord. Do you want the mature answer or do you want me to be petty? My petty answer is, okay, then no oral for him. If we're actually being serious, I would talk to him about why he doesn't want to do that. Maybe he's afraid of something. Maybe he just doesn't like it. But I think that communicating with him, being like, why don't you want to do this, is important, because who knows, maybe it's something that you could fix or you could help him with. Maybe he just doesn't know what to do and he's scared and embarrassed. Like, you don't know, right? And if it's just a case of he doesn't enjoy it, then obviously you do kind of have to respect what people do and don't want to do, but also don't let yourself get scammed out of getting stuff done to you, especially if he wants stuff done to him, if that makes sense. As a girl, I don't really know what porn to watch or if it's bad that I'm watching porn or supporting that industry. So I definitely understand where you're coming from. There's obviously a lot of stuff that we don't see when we watch porn. We don't know if the girl wants to be there, if the guy wants to be there, if they're forced to do this, and I get that. But it's definitely not all like that. But if you are kind of weary about going on like sketchy porn sites, you can always support sex workers directly through like OnlyFans, or I know that there's people on Twitter who sell content, and that way you know that the porn that you're getting is from someone who wants to do it. You're supporting, you know, a job for them, they're living, and you get some bomb-ass porn. So that's always a suggestion if you don't feel like going on these sketchy sites or you feel guilty or bad about it. How do I spice up my sex life? I've been with my boyfriend for so long, it's starting to get boring. Okay, honey, let me tell you, okay? Sex toys. A lot of people think that sex toys are just something that you kind of have to use by yourself. Use that shit with your partner and it's a lot easier to actually have an orgasm. And then your partner can also feel very much included because they can use it on you. They can feel like they're actually doing something, and it's a wonderful thing. What do you think about going through each other's things? Phones, texts, drawers. I think that if you're even at the stage of questioning like, their phone's lying there, should I go through it? You need to talk to one another, because right then and there, you know that there is some kind of trust issue. And don't get me wrong, I've been there. When I was younger, I was very insecure with myself, so I would do those things. But now, no, absolutely not. I think that it's total invasion of privacy. And I think that if I'm doubting my significant other, if I'm like, I want to look through their phone, then I should just talk to them about it, because obviously there's some reason why I feel that way. And I mean, if they want to go through my drawer, they're just gonna find some dildos. So that's not the end of the world. But no, phones and like going through texts and being sneaky, I just think that is a huge no-no in a relationship. So I'm getting a lot of birth control questions, and I'm not the person to ask this, because I actually am not on birth control right now, because I've just had such terrible experience with it. And I'm not saying that birth control is bad. Obviously it's not. And obviously it's actually really helpful to some people. It's definitely one of those things where you have to unfortunately try them out and see how your body reacts to them. But me personally, it was screwing up my hormones so much. And because I have endometriosis and I was trying to get that fixed, I had to get off of birth control. It's just gonna kind of be trial and error for what works for you. What's the difference between sex in a long-term relationship versus not? I would say that the sex in a long-term relationship is so much better than just like randomly hooking up with someone, because you're so comfortable with each other. You literally can try so many things. You can do whatever. There's literally nothing off limits, because you can just ask the person, being like, can we try this? And most likely they'll want to try it too. So to me, I think that it's so much better, because obviously when you're just hooking up with someone for the first time, or like a random person, it's very nerve-wracking, and you want to have traditional sex and it to be going very, smoothly and well. But when you're with someone for a long time, like there's shit that you do that you're like, I don't even know, turn them upside down into a wheelbarrow. Like you just do random shit because it's fun and you want to keep things exciting, and you can, use a bunch of toys. Whereas like the first time you hook up with someone, you're not gonna, go into your drawer and pull out the friggin' 10-inch dildo or whatever. Do you believe that people can have sex without any meaning behind it? Me? No. Other people? Maybe. But I personally, like, the slightest bit of attention and I will catch feelings for you. So, no, I definitely can't personally have sex without falling for that person or getting feelings, or, I shout out to the people who have one-night stands, because I'll be like texting you the next morning and be like, hey, what's up? How many people have you had sex with? Okay, so I get this question all the time, and it's not that I don't want to answer that question. I just think it's the weirdest question. Whether you had sex with 10 different people or you had sex 10 times with one person, it's kind of like, we had sex 10 times. Like, does that make sense to you? Like, I don't understand why people care so much about how many people we had sex with, or how many people girls most of the time have had sex with, especially because when guys have had a lot of sex, they're known as kind of like, oh, the player, the guy who gets all the girls. If a girl has sex with a lot of guys, she's known as a slut. So that kind of stuff just rubs me the wrong way. And I'm kind of like, you do you. How do you get over the fear of doing it with the lights on when you're insecure about your body? I used to always turn the lights off. I didn't even want a nightlight on. I was just kind of like, let's just do it blindfolded. Don't look at me. And that's because I lacked confidence, and I thought that the person I was doing this with would look at my body and be critiquing it like I critique my body. Well, newsflash, people don't look at your body the way that you look at your body, especially when you are doing it. And that's what you have to remember. When you are in this very intimate moment, the person you are doing it with is not looking at your cellulite, at your stomach rolls, or even judging your body. People don't look at you like you look at yourself. Have you ever had your toes sucked? Honestly, guys, I have, but it's the funniest story because I just really wanted to know what it was like. So I literally asked him to suck my toes, and he did. And like, it's not my kink. So I was just like, okay, cool. And back to, doing it, we went. But we still laugh about it. I literally asked him, I was like, you should suck my toes. How do you get rid of your hair down there? Do you have any suggestions or tips or recommendations? So I actually started, I'm gonna say maybe like 5 months ago, doing laser hair removal, and I am not kidding you guys. It is worth the money 110%. I have very, very, very thick and coarse and dark hair, even though you probably wouldn't think that, I do. So shaving was a nightmare for me. No matter what I would do, it was so like bumpy and red and just irritated, and waxing hurt so badly and it just felt like it wasn't doing anything. So I finally bit the bullet and got laser hair removal, and I kid you not, I've had, I don't know how many sessions, maybe 5 sessions, and there was barely any hair that even grows. So even if I do have to shave, it takes me like 4 little shoop, shoop, shoops, and I'm done. It's gone. Everything smooth as a friggin' dolphin, and there's no redness. It's just like, it's life-changing. But I will say that it's not for the faint of heart. It hurts a lot, and you have to literally not be shy because you're having someone right in there and spreading your cheeks and zapping the hair out. But it is worth it 110%. I highly recommend it. Have you ever had sex in public, like a car, public restrooms, etc.? Would you recommend it? Yes, to all of the above. We have car, playground, change room. Obviously, it's more enjoyable to do stuff in the comfort of your home because you're not panicking, thinking, oh my God, am I gonna get caught? But it's definitely exhilarating and it's fun and it's nice to change things up. So, I mean, I say, why not? Have some fun, live on the edge, just don't get caught, and don't blame me if you get caught. Are you in/would you ever consider an open relationship? Why or why not? Honestly, I don't really know, because I think relationships, again, are so personal. So I personally don't consider myself in an open relationship. However, we do have different boundaries than other relationships, as in threesomes or me being with another girl. So that kind of stuff, again, some people might not agree with and are like, oh, that's cheating. But it all depends on your trust, your communication, and just being really open with each other. So I don't know if you call that an open relationship. I don't know if I would be into having an actual open relationship where you do see other people while you are seeing another person. I know that that does work for some people. Actually, one of my friends is in an open relationship and it works very well for her. But me personally, I don't think that I could do that. My boyfriend really wants me to squirt, but I physically cannot do this. Okay, well, first of all, not every girl does that. Like, squirting is one of those things where it's like, some people have orgasms through penetration. Some people have a very hard time doing that and they have to have like their clit stimulated. But not everyone squirts when they have an orgasm. If you do want to, there are ways that you can obviously help yourself do that. I mean, one, you could Google it, but don't let your boyfriend pressure you into thinking that you need to do that, because you definitely don't. Would you be down for a serious relationship with someone who is transgendered? Me personally, absolutely. I mean, I don't know what my sexuality really is. I always say bisexual because it's easier for people to understand, but I think the actual term is pansexual, where it's like, I don't care who I love. If I love you, I love you. If I like you, I like you. Like, I don't care. So yeah, absolutely. Is it healthy to masturbate when you already have a partner? Absolutely. I think that masturbating and doing it with your partner are two completely different experiences, and I think that, you know, how are you gonna know what you like when you're with your partner if you don't experience it on yourself? When you're with someone else, you're not always just focused on yourself. You're obviously focused on the other person too. So it's time to just, you know, go to town on yourself. You are number one. It's just you who you have to like concentrate on. And I think that it feels so good. So yeah, no, it's completely healthy and fine to want to do that while you're with somebody. My man says he hates using condoms because of the way that they smell, but I don't want to have sex without one. That is completely fine. And I actually understand what you mean. A lot of latex condoms smell so bad. So my suggestion to you is to buy non-latex condoms, because they literally have no smell to them. They work just as good. It's like if you had a latex allergy and you couldn't use them, but I find that they smell so much better. So no, if you're not comfortable having sex, obviously without a condom, that is completely fine, and make that known. Like, obviously you have, but definitely try out non-latex condoms if you don't like that nasty latexy smell, because I literally hated that. All right, so I'm gonna close off the video with that. Hopefully this wasn't too TMI or too much, but I really enjoy talking about this kind of stuff. I think that these videos are fun and interesting. I like when I see other people do them, and I just think that they're fun to watch. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and I will be back with another video very soon. I love you guys so much. Bye.